In case you missed it, Snoop Dogg was one of the rappers in the industry that provided fresh information on Tupac's murder case, according to the press. Diddy and Suge Knight are scheduled to be arrested in connection with the case, and the federal authorities' suspicions of Snoop Dogg's involvement in the crime were likely sparked by this conversation.
You were with Tupac, though, in regards to Tupac. I heard a story, did you give him different advice that night on where to go?
I didn't give him no advice.
Right.
We wasn't seeing eye to eye.
Right.
So.
Saying during the Tyson.
Yeah, this incident that I'm explaining to you right now was the day before that.
Okay.
So when they got to Vegas, they went their way, I went back. I mean, when we got to LA, they went to Vegas and I went home. That's why I wasn't in the car.
Snoop would subsequently remark that he was supposed to be in the BMW but didn't go because of last-minute changes. This was most likely due to a fight that had occurred the day before between Snoop, Tupac, and Suge.
The last time me and Tupac was on the same page, and I did an interview with Angie Martinez, and she asked me, how did I feel about Puffy and Biggie? And I told her that I like their music and I want to do music with them. Bro didn't like that, Tupac didn't like that, so we had a misunderstanding. So on the flight back to LA, I didn't feel comfortable around them for what they had did, as far as I didn't let my security ride with me. So to protect myself and to prevent from happening, I slept under a blanket with the knife and the fork just in case something was to go wrong, but it didn't.
The cops are suspicious since Tupac was murdered within 72 hours of all of that. Snoop was highly plugged into the streets 20 years ago. Many speculate that this may have prevented him from getting into that car by alerting him about Tupac's impending target that evening. The feds then found another interview where Snoop claimed that 2 days before his death, Tupac loathed him.
A week before he died, we was best of friends. 2 days before he died, I don't think he liked me.
Why?
Because we was in New York, and it happened. New York, they shot at me and did all kind of shit to me, like just the worst you could think of. And I forgave him. And went and did an interview and was asked, how do I feel about Puffy and Biggie? And I was like, I want to do some music with him. And that just rubbed Cuz the wrong way, like trying to me out at you, and you talking about you want to do a song with him. I wasn't thinking about his emotions. I was thinking about the way I felt at the time. I wasn't into no controversy. I liked his music. They was our friends. We was all friends at one point. There's video footage of all of us hanging out.
There have been serious concerns expressed by the Las Vegas Police Department, and everyone is researching it online. This led to a widely circulated post that revealed, learn how Snoop Dogg found out that Tupac was allegedly a Fed. Tupac was an industrial factory whose purpose was to terminate the competition between the Red and Blue Street teams, according to an officer interviewed for the article.
Well, it turns out when I talked to Tupac's longtime mentor, political mentor, former Black Panther Chokwe Lumumba, who was his first business manager, he's told me, I basically asked, well, was Tupac only pretending to be in order to appeal to kings and politicize them? And he said yes. And that was part of his thug life agenda they came up with his imprisoned stepfather, Tupac Shakur. And so Tupac was just using that in order to get the leaders to call peace truces, first in Los Angeles, then throughout California, and then throughout the country. And that was why he was pretending to be this type. And really, he was just an intellectual.
A 2010 interview with a rapper named Trey would be the first in the evidence file that leaked online, while one police department investigated Tupac's murder and another investigated his ongoing existence. Obviously, this plan didn't work out because Tupac died suddenly. But if Snoop Dogg found out that Tupac was a Fed, it makes sense that he didn't want to be near him in Las Vegas that evening. Trey spoke about Tupac in an interview prior to a 2010 show. In the past, he was good friends with Tupac, and they even worked together on an album. But here's where it gets weird. The cameraman dropped his camera on the ground during Trey's interview because he forgot to stop tape. When asked about Tupac by the interviewer in the video, he responds, "The last time I saw him, he was in Cuba."
So if you ain't ready for it, get on the sidewalk.
One last question. Is Pac still alive? Nobody knows. Y'all good? Yeah, we good. Thanks a lot, man. We good.
Last time I saw him, he was in church.
A video allegedly depicting Tupac lounging in a Cuban parking lot will then be uploaded to a news website a week later.
Zoom in. That's Pac, man. He with the outlaws. And Reg from Hollaback is trying to be friendly and get autographs. Hollaback exclusive.
Even Suge Knight, who has said Tupac is still alive and doing well in several interviews over the last 20 years, would concur. But one particular interview makes it apparent that he would claim Tupac was stating in quotation marks that he was doing well before passing away in the hospital. When I left that hospital, Tupac and I were laughing and joking, and I don't understand how someone can go from doing well to doing poorly.
When I left that hospital, me and Pac was laughing and joking. So I don't see how somebody can turn from doing well to doing bad.
So you seriously think that he might still be alive?
I'm gonna tell you this, Pac, you never.
However, police records indicate Tupac was in a coma, which makes this odd. Could Suge and Tupac be laughing if Tupac was unconscious? But 10 years later, in an interview in 2008, Suge made the same claim. Tupac is still alive and doing well.
He was conscious on the way to the hospital.
He was conscious on the way to the hospital. He was conscious in the ambulance. He was conscious after they did the surgery.
What was the last thing that he said to you?
Almost a decade of maintaining his claim that Tupac is still alive. Why he didn't discuss it for over a decade following the 2008 interview may be of interest to you. When a man with a gun entered one of his clubs, he pointed it at Suge Knight 6 times. It becomes even more frightening. Knight was hesitant to tell the police anything, but he knew immediately that it was because he had brought up Tupac in that interview only a week prior. The identical mistake was committed by Suge Knight's son, Suge Jr., in 2018. On Instagram, he shared that Tupac was still alive and residing in Malaysia. Soon later, Suge Jr. shared another photo of a text message he received from someone saying, "You have said too much. It's now time for you to go." At this moment, 50 Cent and other modern celebrities released a photo of Tupac with Suge Knight's son. By tagging the photo of himself with Beyoncé, "He never left us, but they'll be after me soon." Beyoncé conveyed the idea that he was being hunted down for revealing all the information. While some believe it was a publicity gimmick to give Suge Jr. more social media influence, some believe it is factual and he would know more about the case than anybody else. This is because his father was present at the crime scene, and his father is now Suge Knight. Comparing this to the police, records of all the evidence they have on Tupac's murder actually reveals the gaps in the tale. On September 7, 1996, Tupac and Suge Knight, the head of his record company, were in Las Vegas. The two saw an opening in the hotel foyer while they were on their way to the MGM Grand to see a Mike Tyson bout.
Knight and their entourage went to the Mike Tyson at the MGM Grand. Keefe D and his nephew, Orlando Lane Anderson, and 2 of their friends were also there. Keefe D told LAPD Detective Greg Kading more than a decade ago, in a proffer that couldn't be used against him, the shooting was retaliation after Tupac jumped Orlando and up at the casino. Surveillance cameras recorded the fight. Tupac was angry that Lane had stolen his necklace years prior in Compton. Tupac, Suge Knight, and the entourage left the casino quickly
after security finally broke up the altercation between Suge and the Augs, Suge and Tupac. Around 11 p.m., they began heading to the club to start the night's festivities. Since no one was ready for the following step, everything would take place in the middle of the road.
About Tupac's concert at the Club 662. Members, including Orlando and Keefe D, jumped in their white Cadillac and started cruising the strip looking for the offender. Before long, they finally spotted Tupac's caravan. At the intersection of East Flamingo Boulevard and Koval Lane, the white Cadillac pulled alongside the black BMW with Suge on the driver and Tupac on the passenger seats. The back window of the Cadillac rolled twice in the chest, once in the arm, once in the thigh.
The aftermath of the tragedy was a mystery for over 20 years, until in 2025, the police made a discovery that totally cracked the case. On DJ Vlad's broadcast, a man named KD gives an unsettling interview in which he talks about how he discovered Tupac and confronted him.
And Bubble Up was the driver, and Baby Lane and Freaky were in the back seat.
We was just all in the car together.
Okay. This was the white Cadillac.
Yeah.
So you guys are driving around, and then you hear these girls say, "Tupac, Tupac."
Got to the light. We was supposed to go drink, and he happened to be hanging out the window. He was hanging out the window like he was in a parade.
Tupac?
Yeah, he was.
So what happens next? You said that as you're driving up towards the BMW, with Suge driving and Tupac.
Tupac was only being targeted because he was reaching for his pistol, but Keffi D didn't recognize that until he saw one of his pals pull out a gun and use it before Tupac.
You said that as you're driving up towards the BMW, with Suge driving and Tupac in the passenger seat, and you said that Tupac pulled out a...
It looked like he was reaching, yeah. Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you actually...
No, once he got the reaching, I got the ducking.
So someone from your car...
That's what happened.
...started at Tupac and Suge.
Tupac would later undergo unprecedented police interrogation on the night of the crime to demonstrate his presence. Though he was sadly not fast enough, Tupac was preparing because he sensed something was going to happen.
He starts. You say Suge looks over, he sees you. He looks right at you.
Yeah, he looks at me.
Okay. When he looks over at you, and then Tupac's busy getting. Evidently, the story is Tupac's trying to either get out of the
back seat or something.
Yeah. What do you see happening inside of their car?
I seen him going Suge head. I thought he was.
So Orlando crossed Dre?
He leaned over on the window, we rolled down the window.
But throughout the police investigation, they also learned that Keffi D's reaction to Tupac's passing demonstrated his sincere emotions.
Yeah, I hate that happened, dog. I really do, man. Cause it took a lot of people's lives, dude. I hate that happen. Probably to God. I feel that was wrong, man. It was just wrong, purely wrong. You know what I'm saying? I wish it had never happened. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion on it. It never happened, dude.
Here's where things start to get a little weird, though. In his book, Compton Street Legend, Keef D discussed his role in Tupac's demise. Many people question why he is just being charged for the crime at hand, given the interviews that imply he may have done it. 8 years after the book was published, fans say it's a cover-up since there is mounting proof that Tupac survived. Therefore, putting an old man in jail for the murder would stop the doubts. How do you feel?